I remember when you were walking down the aisle to Zach and you whispered over to me and you were like, I'm not attracted to him, but I'm going for it.
Here I go.
Hey everybody, it's Nadia. Hope you're all doing really well today. Thank you so much for coming to hang out on another video. We're about to look at some TikToks and talk about them.
Yes, you want to know the difference between us? I have class and you don't.
The text on her video says, what's classy if you're thin and trashy if you're fat? And her answer is existing. Which makes me wonder if she's ever heard of the heroin chic look or witnessed any sort of commentary around thin people and the potential that they have eating disorder or drug abuse problems. It's really common to hear, actually. Someone can observe your thin body and then assume that you participate in something like drug use or disordered eating and know nothing else about you besides the fact that you're thin. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself or sorry for thin people. I'm only, again, making the point that none of us are safe from judgment. We can all be deemed classy or trashy by anyone who observes us. It's really not a big deal.
Welcome to Fat Representation Romance and Dating Edition Part 2. This is the part where we're going to talk about what happens when a piece of media actually tries to address the conflict of a fat person wanting love. So when you have a character who's fat and therefore, as discussed in Part 1, romantic love is unavailable to them and that happiness and success is unavailable to them, there's going to be a conflict, especially if it's a woman, because they want it. Of course they want it. It's like made out to be the #1 best thing in the world. And again, not only is it like a human desire to connect with people, but also it's a marker of happiness, of stability, of adulthood, of worthiness, of validation. So like, of course they want it.
I really like the way she's setting this up because it sounds so much like strain theory of deviance to me. And personally, I cannot find a better word to describe this movement. So strain theory basically suggests deviance is likely to occur when there is a misalignment between the cultural goals of a society, in this case, romantic love and partnership, and the opportunities people have to obtain those goals. So as a collective, we've heard over and over that people who are obese feel an extreme disadvantage in the dating world, to the point that a lot of them express that there is no opportunity to achieve the idealized romantic relationship. So there's a choice to be made. You can utilize conventional means and attempt to achieve the goal, such as working on your personal health and fitness, or you can deviate from the conventions and find your own way to achieve your cultural victory. In this case, it could look like participating in a quote-unquote health movement with a discourse that is so radically in direct opposition to the mainstream that it's now counterculture, and counterculture is deviance. Telling people that all foods are equal, calories don't matter, your body size isn't in your control, fat is healthy, blah, 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 all of that, that's deviance. And strain theory is a bit more nuanced than just this, but it's definitely interesting to apply it here.
So the first way media knows to deal with this is the most obvious. It makes the character lose weight, right? And then finally, everyone can see who they really were on the inside all along. It's a happy ending. Except in real life, it's a lot more complicated than that. And if you talk to people who've lost significant weight, a lot of them will say that it gave them sort of trust issues because so many people started paying attention to them who never would have looked their way before.
I'm not used to being flirted with.
We see here that the conventional means of attracting the partner is actually stigmatized within the counterculture, and that all makes sense. That aside, I've read some of your comments that suggest you've had similar experiences in the dating world, and I just want to offer my challenge to consider the situation of someone you view as extremely attractive and fit who's always been that way. It's possible those people have always had to consider that maybe nobody is truly interested in who they are, and maybe people only pay attention to them because of their looks. Swirling that around in your head for a long period of time is definitely going to mess with your self-esteem. I don't know which one is more ideal, and that's kind of my point. Everyone is navigating the world around them through a unique set of challenges. Trusting people isn't easier for you when you're more handsome or beautiful. And I'm not saying this to invalidate anyone. I say this because it's how I challenge my own perceptions. For example, I grew up in a family that was not my own, and it was really easy for me to frame a lot of my negativity around the fact that I didn't get to have my real family, that if I did get to have my real family, maybe things would be so different. And as an adult, I now know that things would have been much worse. It's just perspective.
Yes, you want to know the difference between us? I have class and you don't.
Her text on the video says, at fitness professionals who still preach calories in versus calories out, even though literal endocrinologists have debunked it. For starters, saying literal endocrinologists is just really funny to me. A doctor who specializes in the endocrine system of our bodies isn't the final word on thermodynamics, biochemistry, all the bodily processes involved in metabolizing energy. If she cared about being accurate in the information she spread, then I think she's saying it's not as simple as calories in versus calories out, that we're developing our understanding of how internal factors such as our hormones like cortisol could affect the way our body metabolized energy. It's actually way more classy, in my opinion, to be humble where it's appropriate. One of my favorite Star Trek quotes is, "The beginning of wisdom is I do not know." That's one of my mantras, and it serves me to remind myself that ignorance is opportunity. It helps with not acting like a misunderstood scientist on TikTok.
Self-proclaimed genius?
Yes.
You poor thing.
Before we listen to this clip, I want to discuss the comment that she's replying to. It just says, eat whatever you want. Don't listen to the person who commented on your video. Like, eat whatever you want. As long as you're healthy, just eat whatever you want. They're very much trying to emphasize that they support this girl's decision to eat whatever she wants.
So I believe this comment was well intentioned, but I just want to touch on it for a minute because I think there is an important lesson that could be learned here. Health is not owed. People do not owe you their health. And you can't hold people to a certain standard of health. Not only is that incredibly unrealistic, it's also ableist. People are worthy of our respect no matter how healthy or unhealthy they may be. And health is also such a nuanced thing. There's so much that goes into it and it can't be determined by one single factor. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I was actually surprised that she found something wrong with what this person said. It seemed like this person was very intentional with their wording. They wanted to encourage people who are in good health to eat whatever they want, but not encourage people in poor health to consume foods that might make that health condition worse. It seems like they're a good person who has good intentions for strangers even, but that's not good enough per the health at every size community.
Sorry, I was trying to help.
Hey guys, did you know that I really like chocolate and vanilla ice cream and mint chocolate chip? But out of the three, I prefer mint chocolate.
Do y'all remember last week's video where they were yelling at us about how much they didn't care about our preferences?
Nobody cares who you're dating. I know that's a really hard pill to swallow, but genuinely nobody cares who you're dating.
I know it's a rare, I think that's like a rare opinion. A lot of people hate it, but I like all three, but I prefer the mint chocolate over the chocolate and vanilla, but still like them. Notice how if I didn't like the chocolate and vanilla, I would have said so. Because like I don't like cotton candy flavor. I don't like it at all, so I don't prefer it.
I think we all know what she's talking about here. It's not just ice cream, obviously. It's what gets focused on a lot in this community, dating preferences. So let's watch this next clip together to kind of illustrate a point.
I remember when you were walking down the aisle to Zach and you whispered over to me and you were like, I'm not attracted to him, but I'm going for it.
Here I go.
Yeah, I can't imagine the person at the other end of my aisle saying something like that and me feeling good on the inside. Her face here suggests that she feels the same. She also wants her future spouse to be attracted to her. She looked equally as shocked as I was. So if you don't want to end up like whoever is at the end of this aisle here, then I would stop focusing so much on convincing the world that they can't have innocent preferences or however it's being worded that day, that time. Because nobody ends up in a healthy, happy relationship by convincing another person to be with them in order to uphold or disprove an ideal. Here, we're specifically talking about fat phobia. You don't want the person at the other end of your aisle to be saying, man, I'm not attracted to them, but I don't want to be fat phobic. For some people, body size will be a serious factor that they'll consider for a future partner. And for a lot of others, it might not even be on their list at all. But laboring to change people's minds about their attraction to you is not only futile, it's kind of needless pain for both of you.
You must love me exactly as I love you.
I guess I'm a little confused. Are all the fat people on here just getting endlessly harassed for no reason at all? And just like not talking about it, but continuing to post content? Or is it just me? And like, where are...
When I saw this, my thoughts went immediately to the type of content that I see her post the most and how people might engage with me if I had a similar online persona as her, but I was my size. And when I really reflected on my personal experiences advocating online in the past, I reached the obvious conclusion that anyone sharing unpopular opinions online is going to interact with a lot of negativity. Her page focuses on fat liberation in a world where we have recognized fat as a potentially fatal health risk. So obviously people will publicly disagree with you and your activism, and something that happens a lot when people disagree is ad hominem attacks. You're not shielded from these as a thin person, tall person, able-bodied person, whatever. TikTok is a toxic social media platform, and every single social media platform that exists has its fair share of bullying. The more visibility you achieve on the platforms, the more criticisms you open yourself up to.
He voiced his opinion, even though it was unpopular. Boo!
I'm going to end the video here today with this clip of Zeolita dancing around, having a good time. We've been following her account because she's trying to lose weight right now, and she's actually having success in that goal, and look how happy she looks. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I really would love to hear what you thought down below. That's going to be it for today, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.